Imagine being sent to the Tower of London for falling in love. Then imagine it happening again. This was the extraordinary life of Margaret Douglas. Born in 1515, Margaret was no ordinary noblewoman. She was the daughter of Margaret Tudor, the sister of Henry VIII. That made her the king's niece and a potential threat to the Tudor succession. In Tudor England, royal blood was dangerous. The closer you were to the throne, the less freedom you had. Margaret learned that lesson the hard way. At just 17 years old, she fell deeply in love with Thomas Howard. The couple planned to marry, but Henry VIII was furious. Any marriage involving a woman with royal blood could create a rival claim to the throne. To Henry, this wasn't romance. It was politics. Margaret was arrested and sent to the Tower of London. Thomas was imprisoned as well. The lovers were separated, and they never saw their dream fulfilled. Thomas died in captivity. Margaret was left heartbroken. Most people would have learned their lesson. Margaret did not. Years later, she became involved in another unauthorized romance. Once again, Henry VIII erupted with anger, and once again, Margaret found herself imprisoned. For the second time, love had become a crime. Eventually, Margaret found stability through marriage to Matthew Stuart, 4th Earl of Lennox. The marriage survived. But life at the Tudor court was never peaceful. Plots, rivalries, succession crises. Margaret spent decades navigating one of the most dangerous royal courts in Europe. Then history took a remarkable turn. Her son, Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley, married Mary, Queen of Scots, in 1565. It was one of the most controversial marriages of the century. And it produced a son, a boy named James I of England. When Elizabeth I died childless in 1603, that boy inherited the English throne. For the first time, England and Scotland were united under one monarch, the woman who had been imprisoned for love. The woman whose romances had terrified Henry VIII had become the grandmother of the king who united two kingdoms. Margaret Douglas spent much of her life suffering for matters of the heart. Yet in the end, her bloodline achieved what armies and wars never could. It united the crowns of England and Scotland.